Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and I know I've released you a video so far today on the World of Tanks sandbox test server, but you know, it wouldn't be a Tuesday without at least getting you some gameplay as well, right? So I'm playing in one of my favorite tier 9 vehicles in the game, the AMX-30 prototype, and I'm also playing with my good buddy Phil. Where's Phil? Oh, he's all the way over there, and he has got my back. As we can see, I've played quite aggressively. I've gone into the middle. The AMX-1375 spots me, but Phil puts a good shot into him. And I spot an AMX-5120 who was a bit cheeky and decided to stop to try and have a go at me, but we put a good round in there, dissuading him from continuing to engage. Now, this is one of the most important locations, in my opinion, on Lakeville. And if you're in a medium tank or a light tank and you feel like you have excellent view range because you're using things like situation awareness and coated optics, and you have a good camera rating, what a shot there over that rock into the very tall Type 4 Heavy, then you want to use this position. You can just get fantastic view range along here. Also, you can spot for your allies who are hopefully situated here, being able to shoot across. And anyone who tries to be aggressive to get towards you generally gets punished before they manage to make it into here, which is a lovely hold down location, or here. But let's not worry about that now, because I just ammo-racked the only artillery on the enemy team. Very nice to have to not worry about the M4043 for the rest of this game. And we can see that somebody else knocks down the tree, and I think I can get a shot. Not quite. There he was. He actually managed to get across there. So that shows you how far you have to, how deep you have to go along this ridgeline. Unless you go to here, you can't spot a WZ-111, and I have, I think, at least about 470 to 480 meters view range here. So the people that sit all the way back here, you're never really going to spot anything unless they come across the front. And the people who sit back here in this bush, yeah, sure, you're going to get a little bit of good view range along here, but you're never really going to get those deep spots, the ones that allow you to get the easy shots on your opponents and also get your artillery firing. But still, we managed to pick up a load of damage there, and we didn't take a single hit point in return. But the enemy are pushing in through the west into our base. We put a good shot there on the move into the IS-3, but unfortunately the T-34-100, that relatively new Tier 7 Czechoslovakian medium tank, puts a good round into the back of our vehicle. Luckily, we're not set on fire, we don't have damaged fuel tanks, our engine isn't damaged, only our radio got knocked out, and that's not really the most important module in World of Tanks. So me and Phil are now basically got a good crossfire going on here, and we're trying to stop these IS-3s from pushing forward. But one thing you've got to worry about with the AMX-30 prototype is that if you are too aggressive and you're trying to poke up a ridgeline here, they can get an easy shot into your cupola, and that's certainly something that you have to worry about. Just like that, the AMX-30 goes right through the top of our turret there actually, but thankfully I've got a better rate of fire than him, and I have to make use of it. I took one shot from the IS-3. I'm bloody well going to make sure that I use my 6.06 rounds a minute rate of fire, along with my rammer and excellent crew skills, to be able to put another one into him. Now you might be thinking, why do you like the AMX-30 prototype so much, QB? Considering that, you know, you're a DPM nutter, right? You know that I love my high DPM tanks, like the Comet. And when you think about it, the AMX-30 prototype doesn't even compare to, for example, the Patton, right? The M46 Patton, I believe, which has a crazy rate of fire, higher than many tier 10 medium tanks at 6.66, I think, rounds a minute, the number of the beast, or possibly might be even a little higher. It makes the E50 just feel sad for itself when you hear that a tier 9 medium tank has got that kind of rate of fire, and still has fairly decent mobility, 10 degrees of gun depression, while this vehicle has 8. So why do I like the AMX-30 prototype so much? I just think it's just this all-round fantastic combination of having armor that does pull off ricochets frontally, quite a low-profile turret, although you do have this awful cupola on top, 8 degrees of gun depression, which is just enough, but it really is the mobility of this tank that is utterly fantastic. This is horrible terrain right now that I'm driving through, and I'm driving through this swampy area at 60 kilometers an hour. I know many tanks that would struggle to do maybe 30 within the medium class along that. And the AMX-30 prototype just seems to absolutely cut through the terrain. It's got some fantastic terrain resistances. 0.9 on hard, exactly 1 on medium, and 1.8 on soft, while still having a 22.36 power to weight ratio. Unfortunately for this Jagdpanther, we're just going to be toying around with him here. And this is a highly mobile tank destroyer when you consider it, with excellent track traverse. And we're able to just run rings around him while also trying to make sure that we keep our turret towards enemies that might hit us from a different part of the map. Sorry about that, buddy. It's rather unfortunate, but that's the way it works out. So me and Phil have now picked up 6 kills between us. And oh gosh, there's a T-28 prototype right there. I fire one at him on the move. However, we don't penetrate, and I think we only managed to take his tracks off. And right now, Phil is on the other side of the map, and he is shooting across at the T-28 prototype. And I'm in a fantastic position here to just take him out. I think Phil's got the kill. There's no way he's going to miss that, right? This vehicle also fairly accurate. What is it exactly, the accuracy on this tank? I think it's 0.32 off the top of my head, but I cannot see. Anyway, let's see if we can hit this bulldog. Yes, we do. The accuracy of this tank is 0.33 to be sure. And that is rather nice. I just think, gosh, I mean, I've got my 3 marks of excellence. I've got my 4 girls invested in this tank. I think they've got like 5 skills at 70% now. It truly is an absolute awesome machine. And while I do like quite a few of the French tanks in the game, none of them have really caught me like this vehicle. So right now, I'm on 5 kills, Phil's on 4. That means that as long as we don't die, we're going to be picking up a Brothers in Arms medal. But there is a chance for a crucial contribution here. If we secure every kill left over, we are going to get ourselves not only the Brothers in Arms, but that lovely 12 kill medal. And what I would love more than anything is for Phil to finish off this T-34-2 right now so he can also get a top gun. Oh no! The Bulldog shuts him down. I finish off the WZ-111, and we're left on 11 kills between us. One of the most awkward totals for a platoon in World of Tanks. So a great result here in a relatively short game for me and Phil. 6.5 minutes, and I managed to pick up 5,700 damage, and we got 11 kills between us. Then again, this was an absolutely gorgeous matchup when there were only 3 tier 9 tanks on our team. And those are the ones where you always feel that maybe you might be in for a crucial. But let's take a look at some more gameplay. This time I'm going to be playing with my wife, Peppidy, on Runeburg. So here we go. As I mentioned, I am playing with Peppidy. Where is she? There she is in her KV-1. I think the KV-1 is probably the best tank to teach your friends or your wife or your boyfriend anything how to play World of Tanks. Why? Because it's got great all-round armor and it's flat, but it's also thick on the side as well, which encourages somebody to learn how to side scrape and angle their armor, right? We're talking about 75mm on the front, 75mm on the side, so therefore you pretty much angle it at 45 degrees. It also has enough turret armor to justify figuring out, you know, you've got to keep your turret to the front. And it's got a gun, an 85mm gun, I believe, that is got decent penetration and a rather nice alpha damage. 160 alpha damage and 120mm of penetration. And that's more than enough to contest any vehicle that we could meet possibly in this kind of a matchup. And it is a rather nice one indeed. So, let's see what me and Peppidy are able to do. And I did look to see if I still had footage available from this, but unfortunately the live stream of this has faded away. Otherwise I could have got our live reactions on the screen, which would have been hilarious. So here's the difference between a KV-1 that doesn't side scrape and a KV-1 that does side scrape. I'm able to put rounds into his mid plate. It's not doing him very well. And what we can see also is that Peppidy keeps trying to poke around the corner, which is, you know, it looks like it's the right thing to do. But this is the difference between a player who's played, I guess, 35,000 games of World of Tanks and a player who hasn't. What she needs to be doing right now is obviously side-scraping out. It would use her armor a lot more effectively. And the only reason why we were taking damage there is because the T1 Heavy on the enemy team was firing APCR rounds at us, which is enough to be able to go through my upper plate there. Nevertheless, we shut him down. 1,147 damage done so far, and we picked up 2 kills. Now, the clear thing that we have to do now is we have to protect our side. So I tell Peppidy, let's reverse around the corner so that the enemies are so that we're not flanked by the Churchill. Now that we've dealt with the Churchill, that means we can turn our attention to dealing with the Panzer III and also with the other vehicles that we were dealing with. Also, at this moment, our friends have managed to flank around, so we now have the enemies in a pincer. It's those kind of movements that you've got to be trying to teach your friends if you want to help them to play World of Tanks more effectively. Always be thinking about getting out of multiple vehicles shooting at you at the same time. And there we go, Peppidy finish off the Skoda T24. Great result there. And I come round and try to find a shot on the Type T34. Can we find a shot into the turret? Yeah, go for it. Okay. The Churchill finishes off the Type T34, and then we push around the corner. Where's Peppidy? Is Peppidy following me? Yes, she is. Come on, you can make it. I put one into the Panzer III, and then I decide I'm going to shoot the BDR instead. And why is that? Because, you know what? I'm a generous guy. Oh my gosh, Peppidy manages to miss the Panzer III, but she puts in her second round. Great stuff there. I really want to get us a Brothers in Arms medal as well. But for that, she's going to have to kill one of the most dangerous tanks in the game at Tier 5, the OI Experimental. I miss my shell on the move, and Peppidy slams it home, picking up her third kill. That was an absolutely hilarious moment. Absolutely fantastic to get Brothers in Arms medals when you're playing with your friends, or in this case, my wife. And we kill the artillery at the end of the game. Nice, simple one, but there were also some key elements that happened during this replay that, for at least some of the new players out there, you can learn a lot from. Firstly, we got to see the key difference between somebody who knows how to sidescrape and somebody who is still learning how to sidescrape. And it's certainly one of the first things that I recommend that you teach your buddies if they're just starting out. Next, it's about limiting the angle that you are being engaged from. If we see that we have 4 tanks in front of us, and also there's a Churchill that's trying to flank us, as well as a couple of tanks that are going to be coming around the corner, then you've got to pull back effectively and learn to pull back together. Peppidy moved really well here, which got us into an effective location to be able to deal with the Churchill and also try and protect herself from being engaged from the side. That pull back there basically secured our lives. What it also does is it forces the enemies out into the open for these players here, and also gave time for these gentlemen to be able to flank behind. And while things like this do look really, really simple, you would be surprised that it's only tiny little differences like this that differentiate between winning 45% of your games and 55% of your games. So firstly, in the AMX-30 prototype, of course, we pick up the Brothers in Arms medal for our 11 kills between us, a high caliber, a Top Gun, and we also got a Scout medal because of our aggressive plays at the beginning of the game. And in addition, a Tank Sniper for dealing the most damage at long range. Look at that result, 5,700 damage for me, 5,200 for Phil, 7 kills, 4 kills, but I managed to do just that little bit more spotting. And also, look at the difference between the experience here. That is because, effectively, I was spotting for Phil. And remember, whenever you're spotting for someone, you're getting the same amount of experience that they are for damaging the target. And if you're not spotting the target, you're only getting half of what you could be getting. Next up in the KV1, me and Peppidy picked up what we're going to call a Lovers in Arms medal. A high caliber and a steel wall. And I think that was an ace tanker in a KV1. And Peppidy finished 4th on experience. She must be happy about that. A great result, but she definitely still has a long way in figuring out how to use her armor before she's picking up steel wall medals. So there you guys have it, a Brothers and a Lovers in Arms medal. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And click that more info icon in the top right hand corner of your screen to see a bunch of other relevant replays. And let me know in the comments down below what would be your recommended tank line for a completely new player to go up first and why. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.